Hello, I'm going to do the Capricorn, a daily love reading. And this may or may not resonate with you. If it does, take the parts that do resonate. If it does not, leave the parts that do not resonate, as those may be meant for someone else. All right, so we're going to get some angel answer cards. And we're going to start with that for an overall energy. And then we're going to get some tarot cards for clarifiers. All right. Capricorn love. Capricorn love. What do we have for Capricorn love reading? We have wait, communicate clearly, and ask your angels. I feel like there's a situation or there's something that's going on. There's something that you want to communicate to someone, but I feel like you need to wait and you need to take your time and you need to make sure that when you talk about what it is you need to talk about with this person, that you communicate clearly. And I feel like the ask your angels is like looking for that guidance, looking for that direction or the way that you need the strength and the way that you need to communicate so that you're clear about what it is that you want to say. It could also be that you're not clear what you want to say to this person. Maybe you're questioning this relationship. Maybe you're not feeling as strongly, or you're not feeling the connection as strongly as you were before. And maybe you need to figure that out within yourself before you communicate this to the other person. Because you want to make sure that you're clear with the way that you feel, so that way you don't give a false impression or false messages to the other person. Because if you're not clear, you don't want them to be confused and unclear also. All right, so we have the Page of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Pentacles. We have the Empress. For some reason, I'm also thinking that it could have to do with elevating a relationship to a higher level, but I also, for some reason, I was feeling that it could be that you want more of a commitment within the relationship, or maybe you want children, or the other person wants children. There's a lot of green, and I feel a lot of green and a lot of gold here. Four of Pentacles, the Moon. Yeah, you're just not clear. And I feel like that goes back with the communicating clearly, is that you're just not clear what it is that you're feeling inside, and you're having some questions and you're having some doubts, or you're having some confusion about what it is that you want to talk with this person. Like I feel like there's something that you want to talk to them about, but you're not sure what it is that you want to talk to them about, that you're not clear. We have the Star card, which can be Aquarius. We have the Moon card, which can be Pisces. We have the Empress. So there's three major cards right here. So I feel like this is a strong message that you want to communicate to this other person. But think about it before you make the move. I feel that you feel hopeful. I feel like you're trying to find your direction in the way that you want to do. It's just feeling clouded right now. It's just feeling confused. You're just feeling confused with that. I do feel that if you take your time before you communicate, that it will come out with a positive resolution. Sometimes we get so excited, or we get so, like, we just want to spit it out. We just want to say it. But then it's like, ooh, I should have waited before I said, like, I should have said this, or I should have said that, or I should have presented it in this way, or I should have said it that way. So I feel like that's kind of what you want to make sure, that you take your time before you say anything. Hold your tongue. All right, so let's get some more. Magician. The power is in your hands about where it goes from here. Whatever's going on here is you have the power to make it happen, but I also feel like it's looking for those answers and being wise about your decisions and being wise about what it is that you say. Because like I said, sometimes if we just blurt things out, then we have to backtrack and we have to do damage control, or maybe sometimes when we get really excited in the moment, we say, yeah, I want to do that. And then when we've stepped back and we've taken time to think about it, we're like, oh yeah, you know what? I really don't want to do that. I feel like it's weighing out, balancing out whatever it is that you have to communicate about. I feel like you have to weigh the pros and cons of what it is that you have to say, or of the situation that you're trying to decide on, that you have to weigh out the pros and cons. You have to and weigh out the negatives and the positive, or what can be going on, what can happen from the result of this conversation. We have the Hangman. Maybe you're feeling kind of wishy-washy about it, the relationship, and maybe some days you're feeling like, I'm just not into it. I'm just, I'm questioning things in this relationship. And some days you're like, wow, I'm so happy. And maybe there's like a roller coaster ride, and there's kind of a lot of ups and downs. And sometimes what we need to do is we just need to step back and look at it from a different perspective and really see, okay, am I happy most of the time? Am I upset most of the time? Do I need to change things? Are there things that I'm doing that I need to change within the relationship to make the relationship fuller, to make the relationship more of a connection? Because the Queen of Pentacles is that friendship. It's very grounded energy. She's like a best friend. She's somebody that you can rely on. She's somebody that you can trust. She's somebody that's going to be there through the good times and the bad times. And maybe that's what you're trying to do, is get back to that, or you're not feeling that, or you're confused by that. So I feel like maybe you need to step back and look at it. Look over the course of the relationship and how has it gone. Sometimes we don't even realize, well, if I really look at the relationship, most of the time I was unhappy, or most of the time I was really happy, and this is just a down point within the relationship. And how do I get this back on track? And looking at, okay, I also feel like it's like, well, can I live the rest of my life with this person or without this person? And is this someone that I want to build that relationship with? Because the Empress also represents birth, and she represents marriage, and she represents that commitment, and it represents that changing within the relationship, that evolving and changing. And is this someone that I want to evolve and change with and have those experiences with? I feel like with you taking time to look at things from a different perspective, balancing things out, knowing that this, learning about the relationship, knowing that this decision is within yourself, looking through the past, I feel like when you're ready, that you'll when you have all of this information, that you'll feel ready to move forward and to release this, because there's something that's bothering you that you need to work through. There's something that, sometimes we have those difficult conversations that we have to have, but we don't want to drag that out, because when you drag that out, then it makes you feel sad or negative, and the other person's going to be able to pick up that negative energy, or that emptiness, or that sadness, or that frustration within yourself, because you're going to start backing away. And I feel like you don't want it to get to that point. You want to open up those lines of communication to work through this before it gets to the point where you start backing away, you start putting up walls. Your partner's your partner, or this person, the friendship, family member, whatever, they start to feel that, they start putting up walls, and that creates a bigger problem. So I feel like if there's something negative that you want to talk about, that you need to come out of the shadows, that you need to bring it to the forefront, and you need to be able to discuss it and not hold on to it for a long time, right? To where all of these swords have built up, where it's festering and it's becoming a problem. So I feel like that's something that you need to be aware of, that if there's something you need to communicate with, that you don't hold on to it for too long. That, like I was saying here with the Eight of Swords, is that you're holding yourself back and you're not being able to express yourself. And thinking of the ways of the resolutions, and but also analyzing and seeing, yeah, that if I don't discuss this and I don't talk about this, that it is going to create a wedge between me and this person. Sometimes we feel, I just don't want to talk about it because it's too hard to talk about. But it's like, if you just, it's like ripping off the Band-Aid, right? If you just if you slowly rip off the Band-Aid, then it's more painful, right? And it's like, oh my gosh, I've only done a little corner. Now I have to do the whole thing. But if you rip the Band-Aid off all at once, then it's like, wow, that really hurt, but now it's over and it's done with. And I almost feel like that's what this reading is about, is opening your eyes to seeing that holding it in would create more damage than it would then if you had the conversation. But again, as I said from the beginning, is making sure that you have the conversation, that you're feeling good about the conversation that you want to have, that it's not just this momentary thing that you just blurt something out, that you're clear about what it is that you want to say, and that you're clear about that. But that having the conversation really is something that, even though it's difficult in the current, it's better for the future. All right. Taking that time, like I was saying before, taking that time to make sure that you're clear about what it is that you want to say, and when the opportunity presents itself, then you have that conversation. You don't have the conversation when that person just came home from work and they're exhausted and they're tired and they've had a really bad day and they're frustrated. You may be ready for the conversation, but they're not going to be receptive to it because they're not going to see it in the right way. So making sure that you're on neutral ground, making sure that you're both feeling positive, that you're feeling good, that you're ready to communicate and have that talk. And there's so many steps when you have to have a conversation with someone that's a difficult conversation, or it's a heavy conversation. I just feel that you want to set it up so that you're going to be able to have the best results that you can. So that's being clear about what it is that you want to say, being clear about your feelings and knowing this is what you want to say, making sure that you're both rested, that you're both in good moods, that you're both in that receptive, energy, making sure that you're on neutral ground. I find that it's better that if you don't do it in the place where you reside, that you go someplace. I've always found that when you have to have those difficult decisions, it's better to go to the park or go to the beach or go for a ride in the car or go to a place, obviously not in a restaurant because you don't want to be airing out that personal stuff. But if that works for you, hey, that works for you. You don't want to be having those deep conversations in a restaurant. I don't think so, but if that works for you, that works for you. But having that place where you feel, on a picnic bench at a park or going for a hike or a walk, but having that neutral place where you're able to, I always feel the conversation is able to flow a lot easier. So again, lining all of these things up, taking the opportunity when you feel that the time is right, and then having that discussion. But it's all up to you, right? This is up to you about what happens. If this is something that's on your mind and bothering you, it's up to you on how you present this and how this happens and how this goes and how you feel. So it's in your hands. All right, so let's take these two. We have sincere relationships. I love that. Because that's that relationship that is sincere, that is true, that is real, that you're being real with your feelings and your emotions right here. You're being real with your concerns. You're being real because you want to, work through this relationship and you want to get over this hurdle that you're having, and being sincere about what it is that you have to say and that it's your true feelings. And then we have modify, and I feel like modify is being clear, communicating clearly, what it is that you have to say. That sometimes if we're irritated or frustrated about something, that if we back away, we find that we calm down about it and we're not as, it's not as deep of a feeling as it was, but there's still an underlying problem. So it's kind of like getting back down to the core of what's really going on. And you may have to modify your conversation, and that's why I was saying is waiting and seeing things from a different perspective and looking over the course of the relationship and making sure that what it is that you have to say is sincere and from the heart. All right. Thank you so much for watching. As always, stay positive, stay safe, and I will see you next time.